Hello, welcome to another live stream, another Retainer Designer live stream, and I'm not looking forward to this. I am not looking forward to making this lower wraparound that I have right here with some serious undercuts that we're gonna have to deal with, but welcome, and we'll see if we can get through it. We'll see if we can do it, but let's roll the intro. Okay, so today, I hope I can get through this because I always dread these. I don't know why I always dread lower wraparounds. They're just a pain in the butt to bend, I guess. And it's usually on mouths that probably need a wraparound. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This mouth here is a lot going on. And I think I can see why the doctor wants a wraparound. They want to collect these spaces, and that's one of the things a wraparound does the best. Is if there's any spaces or diastemas in the teeth, it'll close them all up. And he's already drawn where he wants the wire to land back here. But if you look, this is they've extracted the fours, and that's why those spaces are there. That sometimes happens with the fours. Is when you extract the fours, sometimes you get spaces that are hard to close or keep closed. But man, this is a big mouth, and they're all leaning in, and it's going to be a pain in the butt. So we're going to try that. Okay, who's here? Mr. Martinez. Hello. I'm the first one today. Yes, you are. You are the first comment today. Greetings from Tennessee, and it was nice talking to you. Nice having a chat with you this week. Like hearing your background and everything. Got an email today from somebody else that was telling me their background. Love to hear the backgrounds of everybody. You can usually reach me through the Facebook. If you're watching through Facebook, you can usually reach me through there to contact me through Messenger. It's probably the easiest way. I'm not very good at Facebook, but I'm decent enough, I guess, to do this stuff. They always change things on Facebook. Anyway, hope everybody can hear me okay. And I'm sure I would be hearing some stuff if you haven't been able to hear me. But I did get, let's see, is this crazy? There goes the duck. We are a little late today. Oh, I did that wrong. Do this right. No. Yeah. Did I do that right? Yeah. Okay. And so a little late today. The Cowboys were playing. My home team. If you don't know me, my name's Cade, and I support the Dallas Cowboys. Always have. Good seasons, bad seasons. But anyway, they're playing today. My wife and I, we own a small little lab out in the country here in North Texas, and we have a little 14 by 40 building. That's what we're in right now. We've converted it into a lab, and this is what we do for a living. And so I do these live streams now on Sundays. It looks like Sundays are going to be the best day, except it's going to interfere with NFL football. So expect the time to shift and move around a little bit. In fact, the Cowboys are still playing, but I had to turn it off because I got to use the internet for the live stream. So. It sounds good. It's a bit dark. Oh, thank you. We'll see if I can make some adjustments there. There we go. Okay, that should work. Okay. Yeah. I don't know about this one. This one I'd have to mess with the camera. But let's get started, because the biggest thing here is going to be waxing out the undercuts on here. And again, I kind of like waxing a little bit, but I always don't do it enough because I'm afraid I'm going to overdo it and then this thing's just going to fall out. But let's get to waxing. And again, this is going to take a lot of wax. Let me clean my tip here. This gets a little buildup on it, and it doesn't heat as well. I'm using, it's pretty much a soldering iron. I bought it from JBC and Company, and she creates a specialized tip. Now, this isn't the tip. I've broken this tip, but I'm kind of liking it. It used to be rounded, and it's a spoon shape, so you can actually get some things. You can actually get some things in there. But yeah, this is my waxing unit. Oh, I left my menu screen on. Wonderful. Yeah, lovely. Gotta love the behind the scenes there. So now there's a couple of ways of doing this. One, I could take some of this rope wax here. Maybe we'll do one side one way and one side the other. Is you can take it and just smush it in here like this. Now, one thing I didn't do that I should have just done and is take a pencil, and you can hold it vertically to the mouth, and you can run that pencil along the edge, and you can see right where that undercut begins. And I should have done it over here. Oh, hey, look at that. I almost nailed it with the first layer of wax. So there's a little bit of my wax covering there. And of course I need to block out this bonded, this line, this wire you see here that took impression of. That's actually a bonded lingual. So that'll tell you how much wax I got to put on here. And then if I hold it this way and zoom in, like this, you can see how much those just lean out into space and how much I'm going to have to fill in as far as wax. But I really want the acrylic to touch here and touch here right on these lines. So I'm not going to put acrylic on the line just from here down. One thing I do like to do if I use this is utility wax. It's the same wax that they give kids when they get their braces to help with it poking their bracket, when like their brackets are poking their gums or something. I call it utility wax. I don't know what other people call it. I think some makers, they make a mint flavored, so it actually like tastes good in the mouth. This I need to. One thing I do like to do is I'll get some of the separator here and put it on my finger a little bit, and I'll rub it on the inside of this. So there's one way of blocking out. So it's almost like I'm mimicking gums, right? So if this was pink, like the pink wax I'm about to use, it would actually look like gums are coming up to the edge there. So let's get started on the other side. I may come back and adjust that a little bit, but let me block out this bonded retainer right here. Those of you out there that wire bend a lot, let me know. Do you like to do? I mean, it's challenging enough. The lower wraparounds, they're challenging just enough. But I do procrastinate a bit on them because I'll need a little bit of time. So I don't know how long this is going to take me to bend. So I don't know if we'll go all the way through. Again, I try to keep these live streams at an hour. I don't want to bore y'all to death. But that being said, I try to show as much as I can in an hour. So we are going to, oh my goodness, I just realized something. All right, hold on. I gotta go turn on all my equipment. I gotta go turn on my my pressure pot back there and my steamer. So hold on just a second. Let me see. I think I can. Those that don't, let me know. I can manually place ads, and I'm gonna do them when I'm not doing anything important. So those that are watching on the free YouTube, it doesn't cut into something important that I'm showing. So I'm gonna try something new here. Let me know if it works for y'all. Those that are watching on premium, it won't bother y'all. So I'm gonna try this and we'll see if it works. All right. Those that are still watching, all right, I turned the steamer on. I'm gonna go over here and just turn this Great Lakes pressure pot on. All right. Okay, so hopefully this is working. Is it possible you surveyor to block when you have to? Yes, that would be, and you saw that how I was holding the pencil. That's kind of what a surveyor does. Yes, using a surveyor for too much undercut. Man, I forgot how many years of following you, but for sure a lot of years later. Oh man, Jario. You'll have to type out how you, Calderon. Hopefully I'm saying that right. That's a cool sounding name. Sounds like a comic book hero character. Yaruto. Maybe that's where I'm getting it from. Anyway, but yeah, you can use a surveyor, and actually this is what this kind of thing is based on. And you get a platform, and it's got a stick that's exactly with a pencil lead on the end of it, and it's exactly, you know, vertical, and you can run this around and find the undercuts. Good point. That's kind of where that was going with. Perry, Cowboys 30-10. Go Saints. I don't blame you. We had a church music minister. He was a very avid Saints fan, but he's from Texas. I don't get that. So anyway, I guess I know there's Cowboys fans all over the United States, no matter where they live, and a lot of Cowboys haters. So anyway, let's get back to waxing here. So I'm just doing this manually, just melting up some wax, placing it in there. What I'll do is hopefully that ad turned off. Still going. I don't know what's going on then. I apologize if I messed that up. Hopefully I didn't mess that up. They should be skippable ads, but you know, YouTube's got to collect on their, so they can host my videos for free still. Actually, this didn't take near as long. Now, here's the kicker. Labial acrylic. I gotta put labial acrylic on this bad boy. So I like to wax out the anterior here, in between the teeth, just kind of make it smooth, because there's even undercuts here, even right there. There's a little bit there, there's a little bit there, and that way I don't hook in acrylic in the front teeth. So again, we'll see. Hopefully we'll get to the point where I take this off of the model, and we will see how many teeth I break. I mean, if we break teeth, not how many. Be positive, Dave. Be positive. All right, let me get a knife here. Where's my knives? Let me get this one. And I can kind of tell how much more I gotta go. So I'm just slightly scraping right along that pencil line. I need to pause this. I apologize if I ran that ad too long. We're back. I'm not sure how to use that. Y'all just let me know in the comments if there was a big, huge, long ad going. But you know that doing ads on here, I thought it'd be a perfect little break for when I have to like set up a secondary system. So I'm just building these up, trying to picture the acrylic, and so the acrylic will go in there. You know, when the acrylic's wet, it'll just flow into these areas, and then when it hardens, they lock in. So that's why you got to take care of these. Oh, Perry, yes. Lori, long time. Yeah, you were almost late. Yeah, and I started late at 6. Oh, I'm glad you're back on here. Perry, take eyeglass, keep your wax up. Okay. Your wax, pull your wax through the eye and block, then block you out you later. Heat. Damn Siri. Okay, I think I know what you're talking about, Perry. And I've seen this before. I've never tried it. you heat this up, it stays in liquid form like you would use some sort of, they make a heater that you can, it stays heated, and you take an dropper like this, and you would suck up some wax and drop it on for the undercuts. That's a great idea. I've seen that. I just forget about these tips and tricks from the denture and what am I thinking of? The RPD community. RPDs, you work with a lot of undercuts. Dentures, you just don't work with teeth most of the time. So let's get this. And just smoothing it over. I do like this thing because it stays up to temperature. I do have a video of, we actually use an instrument, and I have I still have it. It's in a drawer behind me. And I probably should get it out. It comes in handy sometimes. You heat it up with infrared, I think. Not infrared. Sound waves, I think. There goes Pete. Well, he's far off. I don't know if y'all heard that or not. He sounds way far away. So, if you're just joining us, I'm waxing out a bunch of undercuts on this patient. And I'm trying to keep it, there's a game you gotta play, because you need the acrylic to touch the tooth. If it doesn't and there's a space, the teeth are just gonna fall right back in, and they'll lean in even more. But if you don't do enough, you'll create a lot of undercuts. Now, one thing you can do is go back and you can, and I'll probably have to do this, is trim out the undercuts a little bit with the burr. And that's another method of doing this. And sometimes it's a mixture of both. Induction. Thank you, Dental Things. Yeah, induction, not infrared. I don't know what I was thinking. Induction wax heater. Or not wax, instrument heater. You just stick your instrument in there, and if it's metal, it detects it and starts induction. Yep, that's right. Mr. Martinez. Yep, exactly how I used to do it. Must be an glass eyedropper. Yeah, not plastic. Yeah, I could totally just melt the plastic one in there. Lori, I use scented wax melter to keep my wax almost liquid, and I have that induction heater for my, see, Lori, you knew induction, for my spatula. Yeah. Maybe I need to bring that back out so I have different options in there. So I'm just seeing if, and I tend to use a little bit of a combination method, because one thing is you can wax out too much and it's hard to add acrylic back. If you wax out minimal, it's easier to grind out acrylic when you're in the grinding stage and you're test fitting it. Now, if you don't wax out enough undercuts, then it doesn't come off the model. The worst is, well, I was gonna say it was gonna be 3D printed models, but pretty much you're coating the whole inside with wax. It comes off pretty easy, but they have to like collapse down. All right, so I think I'm pretty good. So now to the wire bending. Let's draw this out. So this is how I'm going to bend this, attempt to bend it. The worst is sometimes I get either a terrible mouth to do this on, which this is almost a terrible mouth because of the undercuts. I'm going to clean off, there's an air bubble right there. And so I'm going to put some rest here. This is going to be continuous rest. And there's not much to put separator on, but we'll put some separator on there anyway, just to catch those few millimeters of stone that's on there. But I always tend to get like it's like the worst mouth for a lower wrap, which it's probably the perfect candidate for a lower wrap. Kind of like an RPE, a small mouth that needs a expander is the worst mouth to put an expander in, but it's the best candidate. It needs the expander. So usually they're trying to level the teeth. So a wraparound, the purpose is to keep any occlusal interference. So I got to be careful. This doctor likes very minimal. They just want to barely hook it on there. So if you see me cut these short, that's why. They want minimal occlusal interference, and they'll tighten it to collect. And I think they're trying to close these spaces. So that is one thing I'm going to over wax is this space. That way wax doesn't get into that. Acrylic does not get into that space and block the movement of that closing that space. So pretty much you almost just have to have these sliding on a flat rail. So there's probably not going to be much interproximals right here. Yeah. I'll probably grind most of those interproximals out so they can slide back and forth. All right, on to the thing we go. I would like to see that induction item. Oh yeah, maybe I don't even know if I can get to it. It's buried. No, it's not. Perry, you're in luck. I got it. No, that's the wrong camera. I don't know what I'm doing. I got it. No, wrong camera again. What am I doing? Okay, here we go. This is the induction item. And it plugs in, and it's got some sensors here, and this little cup, plastic cup removed so you can clean it, because you'll drop wax in there. And then it's got to be a metal instrument, which I don't know if I have one available. This is a PK carver or whatever. You put the instrument in there and it heats up. It starts smoking, and then you can heat it up. So instead of using a flame, you use this thing. And it's supposedly, well, obviously it's safer than an actual flame. I don't have access to my plugs in the back right there, so I'll have to make a separate video on that. I do have a separate video. You have to check my YouTube. You know, I read this first, Lori. I thought you were using scented wax. You're using a scented wax melter. I was like, scented wax, that's interesting, because then it smells good while you're working on it. But yeah, scented wax melter, that makes sense. And every wax is different. Like my pink wax handles different than my sticky wax. And they have kind of different melting temperatures. I do have a blockout wax I use for thermal forming. And it's a real high temperature melting, because thermal forming will melt your wax. So I'm using 028 wire. This is gonna be continuous rest. Let me back this up a bit so you can catch all my mistakes. I mean, my wire bending. Let's just make this. I actually cleaned my table this time. Well, I just grabbed those pliers, Kate. Where are my pliers? All right, I gotta go on a hunt for pliers. Hold on, everybody. I gotta go on the hunt for pliers. Found them. Okay. All right. I had them at the shipping table for QCing. Lori. Yeah, I put them in the melting dish. I use base plate wax. That's what this pink wax is. It's base plate wax. Yeah, that's exactly what I use. It comes in sheets like this. I just fold it up, put it in here, and I have a coffee cup melter. One of my cameras died. I have a coffee cup melter over here. Sorry, a coffee warmer, and it actually melts it down. I cleaned my table, so I've moved everything. Let me mark this. It's so weird. It looks like I'm putting these really far up there. Because this person has their third-year molars, they're what we call in the ortho business the 8s. But you'll also notice I am keeping these wires straight up and down as much as possible. Once I get this waxed on, I'll show you what I'm talking about. And that, see, my pliers and stuff aren't where they're supposed to be. Okay, got that bent. Need to widen this a bit. It's barely touching right there. See, I'm actually going to have to cut these a little bit. I like to keep them a little bit long, but this is kind of where the doctor wants it anyway. They want it barely hooked on there. Let me zoom in a bit. They want it barely hooked onto the thing there. And what I was talking about, I make these exactly straight up and down parallel. I don't tilt them in. They're just straight up and down. And many of you probably already know why I'm doing that. And it's those of you that finish retainers, you know exactly what I'm doing. And I'll reveal that in a second. There we go. All right, so I have my wires there. So I still have to keep them far enough away from the wax that acrylic will get underneath there. And I don't want to tuck them up against the wax because acrylic won't float between the wax and the wire very well. And then if I do need to cut some undercuts away on the inside of this retainer, it gives me a little bit of room before I hit wire. Otherwise, if your wire is right up against it and you got to cut some undercuts, you'll cut right into the wire, and you don't. That's bad. You don't want to do that. I'm gonna lift this up just a hair. This one, not so much. I'm trying to show you what I can see here. Yeah, that's kind of leaning in a bit, but I don't think the undercuts are as bad on this side as on this side. There's a good shot of it. You can see how it's just straight, like a straight wall going down there. So let's go with, oh, I did not paint the second layer. Let's paint the second layer. I probably should pop that continuous rest off. But I think I'll paint around it because the continuous rest is pretty much right where the wax is. Let's get some. I don't want to really paint the wire with separator. There's some separator I think you can. In fact, I worked at a lab and their final step right before, and it was old school separator. This is like a silicone based separator. Oh, there we go. I'm gonna actually move this a bit. It was a silicone base. This is pink stuff's a silicone based separator. Those may be tinfoil substitute. You know, the stuff you can dilute with water. We would use this pink stuff when we prepped, and we would prep and we would do one coat of this JBC separator, and then we would bend the wire, wax them down like this, pass them on to the acrylic person. The acrylic person would they get a really soft brush. It was called a Tanaka brush they use in Crown and Bridge. It was really soft, and they did a half and half mixture of tinfoil substitute, the old school separator, and water, and they would vigorously paint it in there. Actually, I would do 2 coats in the prep stage with the JVC, which is really all you need. This was just one final thing, but it didn't seem to bother the wire. I don't know what it was about this. I don't know if it evaporated or whatever, but they would paint it on there right before they sprinkled the acrylic. Okay, so let's go with 032 wire for the lower wraparound, and I'm out. Oh, I ordered some. I got some. It came in Friday. Man, I think I accidentally ordered 2 030 one time instead of a 030 and 032. This is how they come from JPC and Company. She takes the care up and wraps these up. There we go. All right. So I can turn my camera back on. Oh no, I forgot I turned off that. Anyway, so I order at a 1/4 pound, and I'm gonna put it in my drawer here. Let me pull out a piece, 032, and I'm gonna put the rest in here. So, 032, I'm gonna make my labial bow. Let me back out just a bit. There's a lot of wire to deal with. Okay, deep breath, Cade. This is the big time game right here. About halfway through that canine, I'm gonna make my vertical bend. Okay, make that a 90. Get my favorite loop forming pliers here. I'm gonna use the big cylinder. Wrap it around that. It is a little dark. Is it Perry or Martinez that told me it's a little dark? Let me see if I can brighten this up. Pete is just out in the back 40 crowing at something. Of course, it is getting real close to feeding time, so we may hear a lot of activity from them until then. I don't worry about too much tucking in and out. Trying to touch all these posterior teeth. There's some that do absolute beautiful work. Avanzada Dental, you got to follow his Instagram and YouTube. He does beautiful work. I'm going to just tuck that in. I'm using stainless steel hard soft. I'm not using hard soft. That's thermoform. What am I saying? Spring hard. I'm just throwing out weird terms. All right, so this final bend around the last tooth, I do tuck it in, and I like to treat this last section like I'm bending a C-clasp. And this will help with retention. Now, I'm eyeing this over here where the canine is. I'm trying to drop it right on the same place every time, because if I move this, it throws off my marks that I make, that I'm not making right now. Here, I made a mark. So, see, I dipped it down, and I'm kind of turning it into a C-clasp now. So now this is too long, so I'm going to cut it because it's hitting over here, and I can't get it to go in. So I'm going to cut that. Now this part, you know, I usually make like a loop or something on all mine. The lowers I don't make loops on. The acrylic tag, I just do bends. This is something I've been doing for a while. I don't know why I do it. I'll bend it all the way to where the rest starts going up, and then I'll make a mark right by that. And I'm going to bend this up. I'm gonna grab it on the inside of that mark and bend it straight up. Like that. Ow. My daughter let the cat in. I hear you, Lily. I can't feed you right now. I'm talking to a cat. Well, my daughter has a friend over today, and my daughter and we have a reading channel, a YouTube, where we only done 2, but we read a book together and do weird voices. And her friend wanted to see where we film it, and we film it right behind me. So she came in, and her friend was like, saw all the retainers and stuff. Oh, this is all braces stuff. And my sweet daughter, she's like, yeah, my dad does orthodontia work. I was like, close enough. Good job. So see how I'm keeping this far away from the, zoom back in. This is bad. Get in there. I just brightened it. Zoom. See how far away I am? Just in case I got, oh, you know what? That still seems too far away, Kate. Okay, let's bend that in. Bend it in. I'm gonna hit here and bend it out a bit. It's kind of, see, now it's touching this wax right here. That is really dark. All right, I'm gonna leave that there. Am I okay everywhere else? I think I am. Still touching all these teeth. So now I go back the other side. Those that bend, my question before, those that bend wire, do you like to do lower wraparounds? I may have to forgive me. I may have to call my wife and say, hey, can you come kick the cat out? Let's see. Make sure everything's where it's supposed to be. Okay. And the other thing about doing these lower wraparounds is I gotta be careful taking it on and off, because I can just, see, I think I moved that. I gotta re-wax that. And make sure I'm bending that the right way. Oh, that'd be wonderful. I've done that before. Make this loop this direction, make the other one the other direction. Yeah, that's that. You feel good. You just feel good doing it that way. I kind of flared that out. Yeah, I did it on purpose. Totally did that on purpose. Okay, I'm gonna tuck. Okay, now you see, I'm right against it. This actually needs to flare out a little bit. I'm not touching the tooth right there. And I'm not anywhere close to that. So let me flare this out a bit. So I'm just gonna grab it right in front of that intersection. I'm gonna push with my finger. I should flare that out just a bit. And yes, perfect. Just did it too much. That was perfect. So I'm gonna just take my 3-prong. I'm just tightening it down. These teeth aren't necessarily super straight. There we go. So now I need to rotate this. See how it's flared out right there? So I'm just gonna rotate it like that. Okay, I need a little bit of a break. Let's see what we're doing here. Lori, doctor described that as a path of draw clearance. Yes, path of draw. That's good. Enough acrylic to fit snug, but not too much to inhibit removal. Exactly. You gotta fit snug. But like if you're not touching the tooth could just lean into the acrylic that's not touching it, and then it's even worse. You make it look like a breeze. I don't know, you're the one with a lot of experience. I know you said you didn't do much wire bending, but you did a lot of the other lab work. But yeah, I guess once you do, I appreciate that. I guess I work myself. I'm a perfectionist procrastinator. I like to do things with perfection, and I'll hold off until I'm ready. Oh, see, I'm hooking that thing. So I'll hold off till I'm ready. So that's how my weird mental game is right now. Is I'll put this off. Actually, am I doing this early? No, it's due Monday. No, it's due the 12th. Okay, so now, remember how I did the C-clasp thing on that side? We're gonna do it on this side. So I'm gonna mark where it's last touching the tooth, and I'm gonna go in, and then I'm marking kind of right in between the two teeth, and I'm gonna go out. So you can almost do this with just 3 prongs. So that first mark, in. Don't mix these up, by the way. And then the other mark, out. And that was almost there. Just out a little bit more. And always make sure you're putting it back exactly where it was. This is such a long span of it. I do not like that. What just happened here? All right, gotta undo all that. That's just, did I mix these up? After I said don't mix these up. What's going on? What is this? I'm gonna have to tuck that in more. I don't like how that it's just hanging out there. Like I said, I don't do much contouring on the posterior, especially because I know that they're closing space, so I don't want too much inhibiting the slide of the teeth down the wire, so I don't do much contouring on the posterior part of wraparounds. Plus, it's easier to bend. So let's start my. So I'm holding this with my hand. If I get my fat face out of the way, and I'm just lifting it up, putting it back down, lifting it up, putting it back down. And let me. I think I want this a little more in, like and so. I must not have put this back when I made that first bend. So let's get this back up. I got to curve up because it's going up here. So I got to go in and up at the same time. Sometimes if you're slick enough, you can do it in one bend. If you're not, then join the club. You're like me, and it's going to take a few bends. I'm trying to fix where this goes in and out. I am just beating this wire to death. Come on. Sometimes you just got to give up. Or sometimes you just got to mark the wire like normal people, Cade. Okay. See, I'm instead of bending in, I'm going to move my hand in a little bit, and that's going to bend in and bend up at the same time. So your hand position, let me zoom out a little bit. So your hand position, see, I still need to go up, so I'm bend in, I'm going to move my hand in. I'm exaggerating that, obviously, but that will help me get that up and in bend. And the opposite would be, this and then this, but you get it. Maybe. Okay. All right, something's going on. Now, it's real important that you're passive all the way through the wire bending process, because one wrong bend and everything's off, especially wraparounds, because they're such long span that you can make a bend on this side and it'll affect the other side. You can get one side, it's so beautiful, and then you just make the wrong bend on this side, and then there you're stuck with bad wires, mal wires. Okay. Okay, we got those back. I'm gonna make my mark right here. Okay, and then just bend it up. And this is just gonna help. The little bend up just is to prevent it from rotating out of the wire or slipping out of the wire. You know, there's no chemical retention between the wire and the acrylic, so you got to make some mechanical retention. It's pretty easy to do. So I like how this one it's all in the same plane. This one's almost there. I just feel like I need to tuck it in some more. I think I'm going to do it back here. See if I push in, see how it kind of tucks in. So let me... One thing that does make me nervous about this, and it's going to come to the pumicing part. Hopefully we'll get to that. Oh, we're pulling up on an hour. We may not get to that. It'll have to be a part 2 to this. Oh, look at that. Yeah, look how on level that is. That's awesome. We will definitely get to the acrylic part. I promise I'll take pictures of the trimmed part. Yeah, I'm not level. I need to raise this side up. So if I raise this up to where I want it, where it looks even here, and then I'll look over here, look what happens. See, it's flared up. So the best thing I can probably do is just bend that down. Get my pliers and bend that down. And we'll see. That kind of fixed it, yeah. So wire bending is going and finding what the problem is with it all, and then fixing it. And trying not, because you know most of the cause of the problems is you, the wire bender. So it's just pretty much finding your problem, the issue you made, and finding the solution. I guess that's, what is that, Hegelian dialectic? You cause the problem, but you have the solution to it. Okay, I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Oh, this mouth, look at that. Can y'all see that? See, these are higher, and then this curve of spee is higher on this side if I hold something flat. You see that how off that is? And I didn't catch that before. I should have caught that before. So that means this whole thing is just going. I even drew my line. You can see my line is very lopsided. So I like how this looks here, but I'm not liking how this looks. So this means this bend I did was not the right choice. So let me unbend that. I probably need to do this one and bend it differently. Ugh, yucky. Okay, I'm gonna try a quick fix. I'm just gonna round this a little bit. So I'm just doing my 3 prong. We're trying to put a dip in there. Okay, I got closer. See, what's getting me is the height difference between this and this. So it may just gonna have to be higher on this bicuspid a little bit, because I'm putting acrylic here. I really need it to hit in the same spot on those canines. So it's gonna have a little height thing. So what I probably should have done is paid attention. There, I said it. I should have paid attention. But bent this should have been here, but that would have made the loop look weird. I guess I could have, if I bend it more here where this tilts this way, which would force that down there, but then this kind of does a forward loop. I like where the loops hit the canines. I'm gonna keep that. I think I'm gonna bend this some more and try to bend this up some more. I'm asking for it. I'm asking for another 20, 30 minutes of bending. Oh, God. Cade, you're just making it worse. You should have stopped while you're ahead. Now I'm causing that to flare up. So one thing I would... Oh, I can't talk until I get this fixed. That is just... nasty bending right there. See why I was dreading this? This is the reason I was dreading this. This is the exact reason I was dreading this. Okay, so I'm having the same problem kind of on this side. It's a little higher than where I put my mark. But I think it's just gonna have to be like that. Or else I'd have to go down, up, it'd be stepped. So this is a little high here. So I just need to put a bend somewhere along here to get that to go back down. I'm touching this tooth. So I think if I put a bend right about here. There. Cade, don't touch it. Stop touching it. See how, yeah, I'm trying to compensate. But again, I'm putting Lego acrylic on here. And there's no support wires on this. Did I tell y'all that yet? There's no support wires. And the good thing is if it is up here, it's not gonna, see these undercuts? You can start seeing the roots are right here. See, these roots are starting to show. That's how much, so if I actually go underneath this line, there's a chance I can lock in. See, I'm trying to make myself feel better. All right, let's wax this in. I can deal with it. Hopefully, I think that's what I have to do. It just looks odd to me, and I know it's the curve of speed is just messed up. Now, this is what a wraparound is pretty much for. They'll help level teeth too, so they can level out. See, there's not going to be any occlusal interference. If I lock it in, it won't level out so well. So maybe me doing it this way, you know, I'm trying to talk myself into this. It just looks weird right there. I could probably dip down, come back up. I'm not going to worry about it because they're obviously going to use this for space collection and leveling. So I'm going to go with that. And I think this canine's a little higher over here. I'm gonna leave it like that. Okay. We're ready for acrylic. All right. You know, we got to see the cat. All right, let me set up for, let me get this is a good ad spot. So let me see if I can find the cat. And we call her the sad storm cloud, and you'll see why. I'll go get the cat, and then that'll give me a chance to kick her out. So let's, yeah, I hear her. Okay, I'm coming to get you if you want to be on the camera. All right, let's roll this ad, and then, oh, you want out. Well, come here. Everybody wants to see you. This is Lily. Yeah. Do you see her, Lily? Yeah. Say hi. Yeah, it's our sad little storm cloud. I think she's a blue tortie. We don't know. We found her in a barn. Okay, I'm letting you out. Quit fighting me. Yes. I hear you. And we call her sad storm cloud because she's like the color of a thunderstorm. Okay, getting my area set up here. I have not cleaned up since Friday. We had a big day Friday, and that's why I don't live stream on Fridays anymore, because my days have been very weird. Usually, you know, there's those that own a lab that are watching this, which is your busy day, which is your slow day. I would say my slow day is probably Thursday, used to be Friday. My busy day is Monday for some reason. It's crazy. All right, let's move this into position, this camera. There we go. I don't even know what flavor of retainer this is gonna be. Standard pink, okay, yeah. It's an adult. Cade, please make Holly wrap around lower 8s. Done, did it, finished. All right, let's switch over to the camera. Why is this asleep? Let's turn this off. Okay, here, all right. This is dark too. It's those undercuts. Those undercuts are making it dark. See it? Undercuts are not fun to deal with. Let's see if I can brighten this up a bit. Zoom in a bit. Ooh, a little too much. There we go. I think that's bright. Can I do this? And then this? Maybe. I don't know. So you can see my back? Doesn't matter. Okay, so I do have my standard pink, which is here. And this is what I'm going to use for my labial acrylic, so it doesn't yellow. And then here is my, oh, I need some powder in there. I got my 5 pounds of stuff here. I think I just breathed that in. Oh. Oh no, overfilled. Transfer. Can I transfer fast? Probably not. Oh, there we go. Okay. Nope. That goes on there. Like I haven't done this before. And I'm not touching that tooth. That's an easy fix after doing the acrylic. After everything's done. Alright, so it looks like we're running out of time. Or we're already at an hour. I'll get this in the pressure pot. We'll get it cured. I'll answer your questions. Go ahead and ask your questions now. We'll get this cured, and then we'll attempt to take this off on camera to reveal my shame in front of everybody. See how many teeth we broke off. And then I will trim it, and I will do my best to record it, okay? Especially those Patreons. If you're a patron, I'll record it and I'll post it on Patreon. But I gotta help my wife take the daughter's friend back home at 7, and that's a minute away. All right, so now I'm moving to the inside. It's so dark because of the teeth. All right, I gotta get the name in there. I may put this name on the front side. Now, the reason, usually I put them on the tissue side, right? But remember me talking about the wires not touching the tissue side? You want to give yourself a few millimeters, at least 1 to 2 millimeters of acrylic between the wire and the tissue. That way, if you have to grind out some undercuts, or the doctor needs to grind out some undercuts, they're not going to hit wire. You're not going to hit wire. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put the name on the tongue side of this acrylic. Well, hold on. I got to look at it. Make sure it's level. Make sure I'm not doing a HIPAA violation here. All right, there we go. Got the name in there. So I'm going to do this in sections of 3, and it's going to look like I'm going to be pretty thick. It doesn't look thick now, but you kind of need it thick. That just gives you some room, and this thing needs some. This mouth is such a long span. This is going to be a pain in the butt to pumice. Guarantee pain in the butt to pumice. But I'm going to sprinkle this in 3 sections. Left side, right side, middle. And then just blend them together. I'm going to have to get that eyedropper method going. I bet my wife has a unused scented candle heater that I could use. I'll tell you what, us dental lab people are just so inventive. We can pretty much use most anything in the production of the lab. There's a running joke with my wife. I kept taking her stuff from the kitchen and stuff, and using it in the lab. And she'd be like, "Stop taking my stuff and using it in the lab." So now I let her buy whatever she wants for the kitchen, and then she gives me the old stuff for the lab, like measuring cups and scoops and tubs and things like that. It's amazing how much crossover there is, not just between ortho labs and denture labs and crown and bridge labs, but the kitchen, dental labs in the kitchen. And I've been working in my head, writing down some notes about a video, probably for the online course that I'm trying to build about opening up your own ortho lab. And you got to build a place and stuff like that, but a lot of it's like you're almost building it like a kitchen. The center of your lab's kind of the sink, and that really determines where you position everything, because most places that you put labs, you don't have a choice of where your sink's at. There's probably one wall that has all the plumbing you need for the sink for the lab. I'm going to add a little bit of, this is taking so long. These long spans of acrylic are hard to do. You can end up with a thin spot really easy. Thin spot there. Okay, all right, I'm running out of time. It's starting to set up on me. Flash some powder on there so it doesn't slump. Like I said, these long spans, you run into the problem of slumping. If it was winter, I'd have a really hard time. I can see that I'm starting to get some bubbles in the acrylic, so I need to hurry up, which means this won't take long to cure, and we can take it off the model live on air. And that's the main point of this whole live stream, was, doing a lower wraparound, which I don't really like doing. It's okay. I like doing it in a way that it's challenging me, but I also find it frustrating. And y'all saw my frustration, especially when the mouth isn't level. Ooh, look, that was trying to slump on me. So let's just take my finger, put that right back where it's supposed to be, put some acrylic on it. And me cutting this like this is going to help take this off. I hope. There we go. Oop, let's see how much that's setting up. It's in the rubbery stage already. This isn't going to be pretty. I should have refrigerated my monomer. But it's not decently hot outside. Yeah, it's already setting up. Not gonna be pretty, but I gotta get this in the pressure pot. just put it in the pressure pot, Kate. Quit making last minute remarks. Make sure I didn't pull that away from the stone, and it goes into the cup on the pressure pot. And this is embarrassing, but my compressor's turned off outside. I don't have enough pressure. Oh, what am I gonna do? Okay, I got my backup compressor here. Let me turn it on. Nope, not turning on. I forgot I was gonna drain the compressor outside, and that way I could, it needs to be drained every once in a while. Oh, yay, okay. Turn that on. Let me get the right. So, y'all get to see me use the... Alright. No, come on. There we go. Full blast. All right. Sorry about the compressor noise. That is a California Air compressor. So I am terrible at this. Okay. All right, let's answer some questions, and what we'll do is we'll pull that out. We'll tease it off the model. Hopefully don't break any teeth. Let's see if my wax job did a good job. And then we'll end it there. Because I gotta go run an errand, and then I promise I'll be back. I'll try to record the rest of the trimming process and stuff and upload that later. So there'll be a part 2. The cat, not the retainer, is beautiful. Yeah, she's one of those that's just pretty, and she's sassy. Sorry, I know you're using stone model this time, but I asked you about 3D models. Separator you use. Sometimes I have to deal with 3D models and I have to duplicate instead of work on these models. Yes, there's some labs that do that. They'll duplicate all their models so that they don't have to they don't have to change their process. So this is my JBC. Let's see, I have the actual ones. I use JBC separator. Oh, I got a brand new one. Alright, so this is my plaster separator, JBC's best ever separator, 704. You can go to jbcandcompany.com to order this. I don't use official 3D resin models. I use acrylic to acrylic parting solution. And it says not to be used on 3D printed arch models. It was designed to separate acrylic to acrylic, but the 3D printed models are actually acrylic. So I use the same method. I paint a thin layer of this on, actually all over the model, and I put it on my fan over here, and I let it dry, and it's got to be completely dry, and then you paint a second coat of separator on there, and you let it dry, and then you got to be very careful with your acrylic or your separator after that. So I bend wires on it, but if I start scraping the wires and I start tearing up that separator layer, it messes up, and I got to reapply. So it's a real delicate layer. So it's not designed for 3D printed models. It's designed for acrylic to acrylic, but it works really good, and it's a super thin layer instead of Vaseline. Vaseline never does dry, and it kind of incorporates into your undercut. And so this is done on a 3D printed model, and you can see the undercuts. Well, fine, I'll just change cameras. I see how you are. You can see the underside is a nice glossy surface. Good question. Perry, the favorite part I like about your show is it's not fake. It shows all the bloopers and things that go through every day in the lab, and each one of us is not cut up to piece of Hollywood-esque. Yeah, I've come to realize that a lot of my earlier videos, it took me so long to cut up. And then I was like, you know what? It's not real, because this is kind of showing I just bent this labial bow in like a minute, and I didn't bend it in a minute. But you know, yeah, I embrace the mistakes, kind of like the air compressor. Completely forgot I turned the air compressor off so I could drain it, because it needs to be drained because it's sitting out in my shed. And so you actually had me. You got to see me in the little corner change over to the other my backup compressor. So it just turned off. If you can pry a little space in between your acrylic and your printed model and hold it underwater, that will reconstitute your separator and it'll come off easier. That is a great idea, and I do that with especially 3D printed models. You can get your knife under there and make a little space, and you dip it in the warm water, and like capillary action, it'll rush into that void and it'll start. I didn't think about it like that, Lori, where it reconstitutes the. I was thinking more like a suction, like you know how you got a suction cup and you lift a little lip of it and it releases a suction cup. That's kind of what I'm thinking of, but reconstituting, that makes a lot more sense, because we're putting this on dry separator. So if you can reconstitute the separator, that's a great way of putting that. Jario, you're welcome. Yeah, definitely. So let's go put that thing in the water real quick. And so for those that haven't seen this before, this is something I learned from my past job. We put a coffee cup in here, especially with plaster models, because if you put them straight with wet acrylic, you put them straight into the water like that, bubbles will come up through that wet acrylic. I don't know if you can see bubbles. Yeah, you can kind of see little bubbles. Okay. Let's just put this in here for another minute. It was pretty much cured. Okay. So that's it. Let's separate that. Okay. Yeah. I think my wife's waiting on me. I said a minute, but it was pretty much cured, so I'm gonna take this out. And if I have to run back, I'm gonna do this under this camera so you can see the real show. I like to get this, and while the wax is still warm, I'll scrape it, because the wax will cool off again and hold on to the wires. So let's see if I can separate this. There we go. So that moves. And separate this. Okay. Oh, do we have a winner? Do we? Oh, don't rush it, Cade. There we go. I didn't clear off all this shrapnel flashing. You can see the issue with these undercuts is, oh please, I'm so close to not breaking teeth. Are you serious? Oh look, my wax was coming up with it. Oh, look at that. That's one bad thing about this wax, is it doesn't stick. This wax stayed with the model, especially when I put separator over the wax. So if you separator first and then put your wax is going to come off with the retainer. But I'm talking about the pink wax mainly. This is going to come off no matter what, this utility wax. Oh, there we go. All right, well, I'm going to have to call it there. This is making a lower wraparound on a where the undercuts are the worst model. And I got to go and run an errand real quick. But I'll come back. I'll leave the cameras on. I'll come back and I'll try to record that and upload it later. So that being said, I will call it a day. Hopefully this helped out. You got to see me mess up and try to fix my own problems in my own solutions. So there we go. Lori, thank you. Nice to see you on the stream again. So thank you again. But let me get my outro music going, and I will see y'all on the next one. Probably do a Sunday again. But be sure and subscribe. If this helped, like it. If you think this will help someone else, share it to them. Let them see how I did that and how not to do it. And then hit the notification bell if you're subscribed, and that way you'll get. I'm gonna find that sweet spot, 4, 5, 6 on a Sunday afternoon when I go live. I'm talking Central Time. So until then, do the notification, and then whenever I set the live stream, usually Saturday night, you'll get an alert of when it's going to be, so you can set your schedule and you can join me on the live stream. But until then, until I see y'all next time, happy bending!